What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Different Lens podcast. My name is Juan Felipe Sierra. I've been in the entertainment industry for the past 14 years, and this is...
And I'm Daniel. You usual nerd. I like games, movies, music, and scary movies, scary stuff.
I do not like scary stuff. I am very frightened. You can call me whatever you like. I do not like scary movies.
So from what you can see, or you can tell, you might be able to see we're not. We have a theme today, and we're going to talk about some of my favorite things
Oh, no.
ever. So
No.
horror games, horror movies. There's not such thing as like scary music, is it? Like, I mean, unless it's like paired up with like
yeah.
like another media, but like by itself, do you think like listening to a specific song can trigger like you feeling scared?
I don't know if scared, but definitely paranoid.
Really?
Yeah, those like very high violins that are like... It's like, oh my god, what the
They
fuck
start
is
like
going
building
on?
up.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like the trick that they're using in like scary movies, right? Like
Yeah.
those eerie sounds that really like get your nerves going. And then TikTok has like those like the scary videos, and they have that music that is like very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're just like always like watching the video, and you're like waiting for something to happen, and you're like, ooh. So again, we're gonna talk about some of my favorite movies of all time because I love horror, and if you've been with us for a while now, it's 25 episodes. Thank you guys for whoever's has been watching, subscribing. We appreciate that. We're trying to do new things, and then again, one of the things that I mentioned in episodes earlier was I am a gore whore. I love gore. I love watching stuff that's like brutal and stuff like that. And I think 2025 has been a phenomenal year for scary movies. I know you don't watch a lot of scary movies, so
At all.
I'm going to cater this one to you specifically just because I know you don't like...
cater to them.
Yeah, but
Because a lot of people out there like scary movies.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna talk to them about it too, because I'm sure some of them are going to agree, and some of them you guys might disagree with a lot of things I have to say. However, I need to cater to you too because you don't watch scary movies. So this is going to be an introduction. I'm going to recommend some good scary movies.
I mean, I've watched scary movies in the past. It's just that
You need to watch more.
know. It's just that I'm very paranoid as it is
Caution about wait. I'm just kidding.
about death. DEF, death. death.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm very like try to be aware of where everything is, like everything that comes in goes out. Like I'm kind of that guy that sits like against the wall that is like I like to see where all the things are, so I don't get I don't get put jelly beans in my booty hole. Have you heard that TikTok before?
I have never heard.
There's like what is it like? I need to what is it like? I lean up against the wall because I don't want someone to come behind me and put jelly beans up my booty hole.
God, I've never heard of that. No.
It's so good.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit about some of the scary movies that you've watched, some of the stuff that you've seen in movies. So start with movies, and we go into games because I'm sure your games, it's a different story. I know you played a little bit of that. So let's start with movies, since especially again this year has been a phenomenal year for scary movies. There's been some phenomenal movies out there, which I've recommended a few to you, which you haven't seen.
I won't.
But they're not bad.
I don't.
And I'll explain
care.
to you why. And I'll go into detail on some of them, and I'll tell you why I think it has been a phenomenal year for scary movies that aren't scary. And I'll go into that in a bit. So tell us a little bit about some of the scary stuff that you've seen and what has traumatized you.
So when I was little, I have two uncles that are very much older than me.
Okay.
And there was one night that we were playing a game. I forgot the name of the game, but it was extremely scary. Extremely scary. It's like you're like going in and out of a jail, and it's like it kind of looks like a rundown prison or whatever.
Right.
And there's like a serial killer or whatever, and you're trying to hide or you're trying to like go through it, whatever it was. So I was probably like 6 or 5. My first time playing on an Xbox or something. No, it was an Xbox because they own Xbox. So I was, 5 or 6, whatever, and I was going, and they told me, okay, play, and I'm like, okay, so I kind of moved, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and they go, no, keep going, keep going, and one of them went to the bathroom,
Okay.
and it was like very dim light, like almost no light at all, like the screen was very bright, so I was like, ugh. And one of my uncles kicked the door. They used to call me Chiqui. which means like small. Blah, chicken, and I'm like, ah! I threw up. I threw the controller so high that it broke against the ceiling.
Oh my
That's how scared I was. I was like, ah, boom, and I couldn't sleep for 3 days.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
Yes.
after that, like I get very nervous. Like there was one time that I went out on a date and my dumbass was like, "Oh yeah, let's go for a scary movie. It sounds fun." The entire time I was literally like white knuckling the fucking chair. And the girl that I was dating, she goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No." And she goes, "I mean, I like scary movies, but if this is not good for you, oh, let's get out." Immediately we left that, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I must look like a bitch, but I don't like scary movies." And she goes, "Oh yeah, no problem." And then we just did something else, and I was like.
Hyperventilating with the bag. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, part of my fascination with scary movies is, and I hope this doesn't come to bite me in the ass badly for what I'm about to say, but part of the fascination of scary movies has always been, first of all, I like to draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like to paint and shit like that. And I've always loved watching how they do makeup for like scary movies.
Yeah.
And like how, and little by little, as I started getting older, I started falling in love with the idea of how they make the scary movies.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scary movies was It. And
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen it.
The remake for It, right, with Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. I absolutely love the character in that movie. The kids were phenomenal. The makeup was incredible.
The thing that he does with the eyes.
I absolutely love that. And actually, that's real. He does
that. He does that. Yeah.
Right, in the weird pose of the mouth.
Of the mouth. Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and the drooling and the way that there's a scene where he like comes out of like this little, I think it's like a little box, like a little fridge or some shit like that, and like he's coming out to Freddy. His body's like what is it? Contorting all over the place, and then he just gets in the face. He's like screaming, drooling, and stuff like that. Which
when he opens the mouth. Like,
it's absolutely phenomenal, and the way that he talks. I really love that. So now the reason why I love scary movies so much, and I'll tell you the story now from my side, is because when I was little, before we moved into this country, we lived in Colombia. It was a 3-story house, and we lived on the second and third floor, and the first floor was kind of like a small rental apartment sort of thing that we had. But before we moved here, everything was being taken out of the room of like the house, right? Because we were gonna sell it.
Right.
So we were painting, getting ready, and I was sleeping on the second floor, right, by myself. There was nobody on the second floor, and my parents were sleeping on the third floor. The house was completely empty. It was just the three of us right before we moved, and I was sleeping on the second floor. Right. And I, go to bed. It's pretty late at night, and I just hear the knocking. 3 knocks. So I'm like, oh, maybe my parents, want to say something, whatever. I go and open the door, and I don't see anybody. And I'm like, maybe he already left. Maybe I took too long. I don't know. I was a child. So I go back to bed. I'm laying in my bed, and then I just hear again a third time. At that time, I was like, fuck that. I'm not opening the door. I already opened it once, and there was nobody. Why am I going to open it a third time?
A third time or a second time?
A second time, sorry. And so I was like, fuck that. And I literally just got in like under the blankets, and I hid for the rest of the night until I fell asleep. So it comes the next day. I'm still scared because I'm like, oh, fuck, all these things are going on. I'm scared already. So instead of sleeping on the second floor, I'm like, I'm going to sleep on the third floor where my parents are. And there was like a room that was completely adjacent from like their room. And I said, I'm going to sleep there. I'm probably going to be fine. They're going to be in their room. I'm still going to be close to my parents. Right. So that same night, I go to bed. My dad is there. He's brushing his teeth, whatever, as he says goodbye to me. It was like a really weird layout where like the bathroom was kind of like in the middle of the living room. It was so weird. But it was like one of those bathrooms where the vanity's outside and like showers inside.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Right, so like the toilet and the shower were like inside the room.
But to wash your hands, it's outside.
It's like outside. Yeah. And I was like in the middle of like the living room. It was like weird layout, but whatever. It's Colombia. Anyways.
Just chuck it up to it's Colombia.
Yeah. So that night, I was going to go sleep. My parents are there. I say goodbye, good night. Everything's all good. I close the door. I'm ready to go to bed. No phones or anything like that because, I was still little. So no TV because obviously everything was kind of cramped up. And I just go in here again. Dumbass. I'm in the third floor. I'm like, there's no way it's the same thing as yesterday. I'm going to go open the door. And I open the door. There's nobody. This would be the third time. And I'm like,
fuck.
Yeah, like this right now. It's like, what the is going on? So I go back. I lay in the bed. I was like, there's no way. Like, there is something. I literally grabbed everything that was in the room and I just put it against the door. And I never opened that door again. That was the last I heard of it. And then shortly after that, we moved here. To this day, I don't know what it was. It could have been my imagination. You know, children have really vivid imagination. Like, you know,
Can you imagine your dad just being like,
yeah, maybe, you know, there's like a lot of things, you know, it's not uncommon, for example, in Colombia to have, you know, like different animals, right? Especially in houses. Like there's probably like mice on the roofs or like cats fighting for the mice or even like probably pigeons and stuff like that.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of pigeons in Bogota, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So it was not uncommon for those things to happen, and maybe they slept on top. So it could have been any type of sound.
Yeah. Also, there's one thing that, I don't know, it's kind of weird to say, but from my dad's side of the family, we have a very deep connection with like the supernatural.
Mm-hmm. So we get into the good stuff.
Yeah, it's the good stuff. So from my dad's side of the family, we have a lot of like premonitions.
Okay.
And like very vivid dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been points where, like, for example, in the 90s, my dad saw for a week someone close to him die. Mm-hmm. And it was like one person
back to back.
It ended up being his best friend that died in a plane crash.
Oh, wow.
So my dad for a week
saw him die?
Saw her.
Oh, her?
Yeah.
Multiple times?
No. So like it was every night it was somebody different.
Oh shit.
So one day was his dad, the other day was one of his sisters, and one of them was also the best friend. So she ended up dying in a plane crash that got shot down. Ever since he told me, like, there's been like really weird things going on when I go to sleep at times. There was one time actually that my grandmother from my dad's side, so my dad's mom, died when he was 17. When he was about 36, 37, he was with my mom, and my mom saw my grandmother tuck him in. But it wasn't like, oh, you know, no, it was like she grabbed the covers and tucked him in. So there's always been like paranormal shit going on in my family. I've seen, like, I've had premonitions of me living in the U.S. years before me coming to live in the U.S. I've met people like, oh, there's one story, and I have a friend of mine in Colombia. His name is Juan Sebastian.
Okay.
I was probably 12. Yeah, 12, 13. And I had just moved to a new house in Colombia. Mm-hmm. And one night I was just this is when I was 11. Okay. It was the year before me moving. So I fell asleep, you know, regular night. And this gigantic burly man in a suit, like a brown suit, came up to me. And it was like in the middle of the void, in the middle of nothingness. And he comes to me, he goes, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Juan. Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm so-and-so." And I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "I have a favor to ask you." And I'm like, he had like a deep booming voice. And I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, I need you to take care of my son because I couldn't do it in life. And I'm like, "Are you dead?" And he goes, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay." A year later, we move, and it was right around Halloween. It was like mid-September, early October that we moved. No, it was early October. So 3 weeks go by, and it's Halloween. My mom is a very scared person just because of Colombia's situation with people getting shot or robbed or whatever.
Narcos. And yeah.
So my mom was like, just go around the houses, but be very careful. You don't know what's going on. There's a lot of people that do weird things in Halloween. I'm like, okay. And I met this kid. And I'm like, what was up, man? And we kind of clicked and we started going. We even made a rap. A Halloween rap.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I remember part of it, but I'm not going to sing it because it's embarrassing. So...
We already heard the king, 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 king. So very good. Just keep going.
It was fucking tricky, Halloween. No. So...
Just keep going.
I ruined the tension of the entire story. So I met this kid and like we became fast friends, whatever. Like around mid to late November, he goes, "Oh, do you want to come to my house?" I'm like, "All right, bet." Yeah. Like, you know, we clicked and yeah, let's hang out. We used to talk to MSN Messenger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Those are the days. With the... So I went to his house and we're playing, I remember it to this day, we're playing Splinter Cell Double Agent. Mm-hmm. And I look into his room and there's a picture. And I'm like, who is that guy? And he goes, my dad. I'm like, he's dead, right? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, his name is so-and-so. And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, he was like this tall, this wide. He had a booming voice. And he goes, how do you know that? I'm like, oh, because I saw him. I saw your dead dad in a dream. And he goes, what?
What a fucking weirdo.
And I go, yeah.
I would have been like, bro, get the fuck out of my house.
No, and I told him the message
Yeah.
the dad told me. I'm like, oh yeah, he told me to take care of you because he couldn't do it while he was alive. And we sat for like 2 hours, just nothing, just doing nothing. And he was like, I've heard stories about my dad. My dad died when I was 2.
Mhm.
Like, you know, he started telling me this whole thing about his dad. And in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
how did this guy show up in my dream before I met this kid when he's been dead for 10 years or whatever it is? So a lot of supernatural shit happens in my family. I've seen exorcisms up close. I've seen a lot of we had one of my grandfather's wife's sisters practiced brujeria, so witchcraft. So I was staying at her house. Me being curious, I started opening like random doors, and I saw one, and like I went in, and there was one with like, it was like a giant skull. No, not that big, of course, but it was like a human-sized skull with some like feathers. And I opened it, and immediately it just felt like I felt the shadows get heavier. And I closed the door and started crying, and I couldn't stop crying for like 2 hours.
Do you think there are people that definitely have more connection to the supernatural than others?
Definitely. And I've actually heard that, like, in a scientific term, that when you look at like when you have extremely vivid dreams, that is like peering into different realities or different timelines. Okay. So there are definitely people that are more like in tune with like the supernatural or energies or a higher existence or a different dimension. I don't know what to call it, but there is a level of attunement that there's certain people have. Like, you know, those people that like immediately can look at somebody and be like, I don't like you because your energy is terrible. And I think you're, to a certain degree, I'm like that, where I can look at someone and be like, I don't like that person. There's something about that person, and then it comes out that they're a terrible human being, and I'm like, I fucking knew it.
I mean, listen, one of the things that, again, I've always been fascinated with these things, right? The supernatural things. It's also part of like the curiosity, like the morbid curiosity that you have as a human to try to understand or just simply experience things that you would normally not experience. And I think, again, it's like a morbid curiosity to like see these things, right? You know, again, I think to a degree, most of us, and if you have lived your life and never experienced anything, maybe you're just not as, I guess, attuned to it compared to like someone who is. Oh God, jeez, we got a black cat this time.
I was about to say, what a great moment in this dark and gloomy show to get a black cat.
Yeah. So here, listen, there it is. Excellent timing, phenomenal timing,
especially on your camera,
and also for Halloween.
For Halloween, yeah.
So. That's the little guy. She wants to get under that. Anyways,
I know, but she's gonna knock out a light out.
Gaia. But whatever. That's Gaia. Anyways, she just wants to be part of the show. Anyways, aside from that little rockster moment from Gaia, she's just gonna lay there.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
She just wants to be part of us. Our show.
She's so cute.
Anyways, yeah. So I was saying, like, I think everybody has kind of to a degree experienced it. I remember that another experience of mine. Again, I'm not sure if I'm gonna live to regret this, but anyways, when my grandma passed away on my mother's side, I remember there was a town called Pereira, right? So we went there. You know, she had cancer. It was terminal cancer, and obviously leading up to the death of cancer, as many of you probably seen, it's terrible to see. Yeah. Right? It's very the person deteriorates to the degree that it's just really bad to see. Yeah. But leading up to this moment, I'm living there, and in this house, things have happened that, again, a lot of things you may explain, or some things you may be like, I'm not sure if that really happens, right? Like when my cousin's father passed away, he was a painter in Pereira. He had like a painting in their house that was just made like oil, basically kind of like a paint, like where he would just kind of like use the brushes, but it was like full of oil. When he passed away, that painting, right, that oil painting started dripping. Just started dripping randomly. Like, it was there the whole time. It was just chilling, no problem. But when he passed away, that paint suddenly just started dripping.
Like it was crying.
Yeah. And then the dog that they had was on the second floor where his son used to sleep, just barking uncontrollably. Like, for no reason, just barking uncontrollably in the room where he used to sleep. So things like that is like, wow. And then, so when we were there for my grandma's passing, you know, she was surrounded by all of us. She was very loved. So it was a lot of us there. My mom and I moved there to be a whole year there with her. And leading up to her death, obviously she was a big smoker, but she couldn't smoke towards the end. So I remember there was a day that there was a random cigarette that was found lit up just in like on the living room. So it was like the second floor. I mean, the first floor had like 2 living rooms, like one for the TV and then another one with like people who socialize.
Yeah.
And they just found like a cigarette just there. My mom and my aunt would smoke outside because they didn't want the, you know, the smell
Yeah.
going up towards her in the second floor.
Yeah.
But they just found a lit cigarette, which was very weird. Also, they found one of the chairs in that living room that was soaking wet.
Damn.
For no reason. Just
Damn.
met randomly. And so my aunt thought, oh, maybe the dog peed on it. But it didn't smell like pee or anything. Apparently, it was just wet. So leading up to her passing, I remember that one day I woke up, and in Colombia, I don't know if you remember, but like we have water tanks.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Those water tanks, because obviously it's not like free running water all the time. It's just
Yeah.
like you have a water tank, and if you run out of hot water, you're done.
You're just done.
Screwed.
Yeah.
And I remember I woke up one day to go to school, and then as soon as I put my feet on the ground, it was water, like water literally on my ankles. And I'm like, what the? I woke up my mom, and the water tank that was right there was just literally just going off. Like water was just coming out of that bathroom because the water tank just was like
Too full.
Yeah, it was like too full, and it just kept on coming out. And it's
Like
weird.
overflowing.
Yeah, it's weird that it overflows. You know, you would know.
Yeah.
Like, instead
definitely.
of overflowing, it kind of depletes the water.
Yeah,
so
correct.
it's the total opposite of what was going on. So it was just very weird. And it was only one bathroom. The water was literally flowing down the stairs. So when my grandma passed away, from what I understood, is that she was retaining a lot of liquid. So when she passed away, all that liquid that was being retained came out.
Yeah.
Before her passing a few days ago, the water tank was overflowing with massive amounts of water. It's kind of like it was exactly, the house was feeling and saying exactly what was going on to a degree where you're like, it's so surreal to believe these things because there's obviously some things that you don't necessarily see. And part of it is why, again, I've been so fascinated with scary movies and stuff like that, because it's, to a degree, all this, sometimes we think about it and it's like, yeah, that's probably not real.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of other times I was like, that hits too close
to
home.
Too many coincidences. Yeah.
It hits too close to home where you're like, oh, that got like my hairs are like standing up because you're like, wow, like I felt that one.
Yeah.
Instead of some others where you're just like, hey, yeah, I mean, you know.
Actually, I'm going to tell you two stories that are 100% true.
Okay.
It may sound a little far-fetched, but they're 100% true, and I swear by it.
Okay.
The first one.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Sometimes when I eat late at night, I have extremely vivid dreams. I usually don't eat past 8 or 9, especially when it's too close to bedtime. But yeah, so like I ate late at night. I was editing. I was doing a lot of things, and I fell asleep. At the time, I was very, very broke. So I had like a pizza that lasted me a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I fell asleep.
Okay.
I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and I'm like, "Is that me? What the fuck am I doing here?" I looked darker, and I was wearing different clothes.
Yeah.
I looked very muscular, so I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And
so I just don't want her to step on the keyboard, and I'm like,
yeah, and so I woke up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like walking around. And then I'm living like a life, and I'm living a life, and I'm living life, and I feel old, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling old, and I die, and I wake up, and I'm like, okay, and then I look at my hands, I'm pale white, and I'm like a very young kid. This is when I was like 19 or 20. I looked like I was like 6 or 5.
Okay.
So I was like, where am I? I was in a different country, and I was living a different life, and it happened like that through like it was like 4 or 5 lives. Where either I would pass out or I would die. And then I would wake up. When I wake up in like my body in the real world, I had to go to work that day. I couldn't. Like I woke up and I literally felt like, who gives a shit? This is not real life. I've already lived 3 or 5 lives, or however many they were, right before I woke up. I don't even know if this is real life. And it took me like almost a week. And I would pinch myself and I was like, yeah, but I felt everything too when I was in the dreams. I would feel everything. So that week I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about anything. I don't care about anybody. I'm just numb the entire time. I felt nothing. I would just eat, cool. When I was about to fall asleep, I'm like, maybe I'm going to die in this life now and then just wake up in somewhere else. So that was the first one. The second one, it was a dream that it felt so real that it scared the living hell out of me. So there was one night that it was in college. And I worked through the entire weekend and I passed out. The dream was thus. I woke up and I was in front of a bank teller. It was on a second floor of like this like beautiful building, whatever. And I'm talking about like loans or something. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, you got to help me, whatever. The bank teller's like, look, there's nothing I can do. It is how it is. It is what it is. Just, you got to sign, whatever. I'm like, no, like, can you just please help me? And some robbers come in and they start shooting up the place. And I'm like, probably like 5-10 feet away from a window. And I look back at the teller and the teller's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I look at the robbers and they're closing in. And I'm like, screw it. John McClane moment. I bust out of the window and I land on the pavement. I landed so hard that I landed on this side. I landed and my ribs explode out of my skin.
Shit. Okay.
And I feel the cold from the air and the warmth escaping my body. So I feel the air coming in and the heat coming out. I smell the blood. I feel the blood. I feel my ribs coming out. I'm like dragging myself like on the pavement. I'm like, I'm like, help, help, help. And I'm dragging myself. And when I pass out because of the blood loss, I wake up and I immediately like jumped up and went, holy shit. And I yelled, I'm like, holy shit. And my sister was in the other room. She goes, what happened? And I explained to her the dream. And she goes, what? And I'm like, yeah. I felt like my ribs come out of my skin. And she goes, how? I'm like, I have no, like, I don't know.
Right.
That's why I'm very weary of dreams and of scary stuff, because I don't know how my mind will react and what kind of things like the imagination will go towards. And I'm very scared of that because, again, I've lived so many things that, like, I felt it. Like, I felt the ground. I felt the window. I feel I smell, I taste, like, everything. All my 5 senses were in it. I consciously have to make an effort to look at something nice or something, like, cute before I go to sleep.
Disney songs.
No, not even. I look at puppy videos. like right now, when we're filming this, the day after tomorrow, I'm going to go to a convention in Colombia. The past 3 to 5 days, I've been like looking at puppy videos, and cute birds are now my thing for some reason. Like cute parrots are my shit. So I've been looking at that before I go to sleep because I'm so nervous and so like, oh my God.
So let me bring you back then into the zone. So, and that's great because this part of it is a highly recommended film that I'm going to talk about. Because obviously, like you're saying, I see a perspective from your end, which is more like, okay, I feel a lot of things and then therefore I am scared of those things. To me, it's more like I absolutely love the ideas, the craft, the way that everything is filmed, to the point where I'm like, I need to see more because it's so creative, right? And again, I understand that a lot of things happen and supernaturally you might be susceptible to some things, but then again, a lot of films happened this year that I'm like, wow, like there's so many stories where I'm like genuinely excited about, right? And obviously from our experiences, mostly yours, I don't think I've had vivid dreams like that. The only thing I think I had was I suffered from a lot of sleep paralysis for a while, a long time ago. And when you have sleep paralysis, your mind goes places. You see things, you see shadows, you see things getting close to you. I felt like breathing on my neck to the point where like, oh, the hairs on my body just like got up. Yeah. And to a degree, you never know whether there was somebody actually there or it was nothing. But like, I remember one time I was laying on bed and I think from that moment, that was the day where I was like, I need to figure out how to stop this. Because I was laying on bed, I was facing the wall, Yeah, I was like laying and facing the wall, and the happened to have sleep paralysis, and I felt like somebody laid on the bed, and you feel the pressure of the bed changing.
No.
And
no.
and then that's the day that I felt like somebody breathing literally on my neck, because I'm like facing the wall, and I just felt like somebody was like right here, and again I felt the pressure change in the bed.
No. Get
After
the
that
fuck outta
day,
here.
after that day, I literally started like Googling like, how the fuck do I get rid of it? Like, how do I wake up from this? And I found out that like calling out for your mom or like your dad, like trying to call out for like try to become conscious when something like that is happening works. So every time after
I started sweating, by the way, just now.
yeah, every
thinking about
time
that shit.
that would happen to me, because again, that was such a terrifying day for me that like it felt so real that I was like, I gotta stop it. So
Yeah.
ever since that moment, I looked it up, and apparently in Google it says that if you kind of like try to become conscious by like calling your mom or your dad, you eventually get out of that trance. Every time I would fall into it, I would just like start like saying like my mom's or my dad's name, and then it would just kind of like made me come back.
Bro, my back is sweating from the fucking anxiety of what you just told me.
Yeah. I think that was like probably the worst I've ever had it. And I've dealt with sleep paralysis a lot, especially when like I'm fighting sleep. Like I'm not trying to fall asleep. And then I'm like trying to stay awake, trying to fall asleep, trying to stay awake. I guess I fall in between like asleep and not asleep, and I can't move, and I'm just like, fuck. Like this is not it.
Nah.
So there was a movie that really called my attention this year specifically. And it's probably unbiased because I love A24, but I thought it was phenomenal. And it's called Bring Her Back. So Bring Her Back talks about something that is probably very real in the sense of rituals, right? You said you've lived through exorcisms, but I think it's not a scary movie where you are going to be scared, because there's not like a lot of jump scares. And I think this year we have had a lot of movies that kind of walked away, or like, departed that jump scare method that we used to have in like back in the day, was like
which I'm glad.
heavily relying on just always like jump scare. It's more like psychological. So Bring Her Back is about a diabolical ritual, a satanic ritual, in which the person that dies, right, somebody's trying to bring that person back. So they grab a host, right, which is going to be basically in the movies a child. The lady, kidnaps a child, and she makes him go into a trance via a satanic ritual, because her daughter passed away. Her daughter was blind, and she passed away. She decides to create this ritual with the boy, and where he's basically going to suck the soul or like whatever is from the child that passed away, and he's going to like, I guess, macerate inside of that body. And then subsequently she needs to find somebody to then place that soul back. So takes it away from that one and then brings it into the new soul. So she finds 2 orphans.
So like a vessel to receive it, and then a vessel to place it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Basically, she finds 2 orphans, right? One is a blind kid, just like her daughter. And then she has a brother that his dad passed away because he had like an accident or something happened to his dad. Right. And he just died. And then obviously she falls in love with like the girl, because she's like, I need that girl basically to... put the soul of my daughter into it.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So through the movie is basically her manipulating the kid, the older kid, to feel like he's kind of going crazy, like he's doing things like she would put like water in her pants and his pants to make him feel like he peed himself overnight. So just make him feel like he has like mental problems for like with the things. It's like imagining it, and then the girl to understand like, oh, my brother is like messed up, so I gotta side with this lady who's actually good. Yeah. And then the kid never speaks. But what happens is throughout the story, the kid starts to, like, you see the appearance of the kid to start deteriorating, like almost like he's decomposing, because the body's kind of coming over. And the every time you see him, like, it's just, again, it's like kind of like decomposing, because that body, like the soul, the other one is kind of like, it's kind of getting more and more, like, I guess, intense in the vessel, and he needs to pass it down. So like with the point where he looks completely like a demon, that's when they need to pass it on to the new vessel. But in order to do that, she needs to kill that vessel. And so the whole story is, I think it's really, really good, because it's not a story where you're going to be like, there's not a lot of scare scenes like where you're just like randomly something's going to pop up out of the screen or like anything like that. The demon is not like something that like you can't see. It's very tangible. Like you see the kid just becoming more and more like, like demonic. Yeah. His teeth just look messed up. because he does some shit that he shouldn't do, and then his eyes and everything. I think the movie's really well done, and it kind of made me think like, I know there must be some rituals out there. People do rituals. I mean,
oh yeah,
right, witchcraft and everything. And actually, you mean witchcraft, yeah.
Shit, yeah.
And so I was like, man, that's actually quite interesting because see, I'm more in the fact that I'm more in, not in the fact, sorry, I'm more like on the side of like, that was genuinely interesting to watch. You know, I wasn't scared. I was more like, wow, that was actually so interesting because it's you know, it's cool. It's a cool concept. I know it sounds like a psychopath because I'm like, that's a cool concept.
I want to see more kids to turn into demons.
And so I'm like, oh man. And then the next one, it would be Weapons, which I made a review for it. I didn't think it was as good because the story kind of disconnects a little bit, but it's not scary. I mean, it does have like a few jump scares in some scenes where it's like the guy's dreaming, seeing his child running, and so he's kind of trying to follow. So it's very vivid for him until he sees the child, but instead of seeing the child, he just sees kind of like the person who's behind doing the witchcraft. I just kind of spoiled it. Sorry. Anyways, it's based on witchcraft.
Okay.
But I think it falls down on Act 3, like when everything is gonna like come to fruition. I think it felt off for me there. But anyways, just again, for this year, I would recommend so many movies that are not necessarily scary, and I love the fact that movies nowadays are kind of going away from that, again, that consistent jump scare that we used to have.
Yeah, the loud noises and the jump scare. Did
you ever watch Sinners?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet.
So I highly recommend Sinners as well. I think it's one of my favorites for this year. Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, yeah.
Coogler, yeah. He did a phenomenal job.
He's a tremendous actor.
Director. And I think he did a great job. I mean, all the actors were phenomenal.
I mean, Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld.
And all of them were great. And it's a movie about vampires. Yeah. But in the South.
Yeah.
It's such a great movie that it's not scary. It's just pure beauty on visuals and the way it looks, the way it's acted, the way everything is. I think it's a phenomenal, and then the usage of music, phenomenal, sensational.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love scary. Like, again, I love scary movies just because I don't know, like I see different perspectives of things. It's like when I watch a movie like The Brutalist, which gives you a concept of architecture, right, and a lot of self-improvement, as well as a lot of issues that are ongoing in the time period that is the movie's developed, right? Or like There Will Be Blood, which is
Whiplash.
Whiplash. There's like movies that are heavily relying on like so much trauma. Excuse me. I think that's really good. And when I see a movie that's scary about something like that, trauma, like the trauma response, like for example, okay. Am I not saying right?
No, yeah, you're
yeah. Like There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
There was a lot of trauma for the little kid, with his dad being such
a fucking prick.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of trauma response to in those movies, right? Like, what else? What did I mention? I mentioned whatever. I mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, Whiplash. Whiplash is like Whiplash and Black Swan
as well.
Whiplash and Black Swan are both stories of what it takes for art to become great and for artists to become the best. The level of sacrifice that you have to endure is crazy if you want to be great. We've all seen those actors that are like, oh yeah, I didn't have, a life for like 6 years because I was just dedicated to my craft. I've never been to that degree, but more and more I'm like, yeah, I need to be that way because I want to be one of the greatest voice actors.
Right.
But that requires for me to be a great actor. And to be a great actor, you need to sacrifice a lot of your time and a lot of the cool things of life just because you have to dedicate yourself to a craft. And I'm sure you've done the same thing with painting where you're just like, I can't stop. I gotta finish. This has to be perfect.
Yeah.
But these two stories are about just like sacrifice and blood and just the part of yourself that you're willing to cut off a hand if it makes you better. So that to me is like,
I think that's the premise of the movie Him that came out this year as well. That was I don't know if it was directed or written by Jordan Peele, and it's about a football player who is going to meet with.
I think he produced it.
He produced it.
I think he
Okay,
produced it.
with Marlon Wayans' character, who
Yeah.
is a former NFL player who was like supposedly really, really good, and he
Mhm.
basically tells him the whole premise of the movie is, what are you willing to sacrifice to be great, to be
Yeah.
the greatest? It's a story where like the kid is basically having to go through so much crazy shit to sacrifice. Like who would basically is like, who would you take down in order to be great? Who would you become to be great? Who would you step on to be
Yeah.
that great? And I think that's the whole premise of like, you know, like what you're just saying, like becoming a great voice actor. Like, who are you willing to cut out of your life? Who are you willing to sacrifice? Right? Who are you willing to step on? Like, maybe it's a close friend of yours who's also a voice actor, but you might have to step on him and move on. And
Yeah.
sorry, that sounds terrible to say it now, but
Which I won't, because like
wait. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of what
the Black Mamba
the
mentality.
references. Yeah, like you need to maybe push out of the way people that have helped you in your career. That you're like, man, that I would never betray that person. But then it's like, if you betray that person, it takes you to the next step. It's terrible.
It's a difficult thing, and unfortunately,
Yes.
like there's times where you gotta be like, well, this is my career. It happened to me recently where I confided in someone else something that he basically told me, like, look, you gotta look up for yourself. It
Yeah.
feels terrible that you have to do it, but you kind of have to do it. After a lot of thought and just really thinking about, like, is this right? And more than that, is it right for me? And yes, it was right. It was legal. It was all of the things. But most of all, it was right for my career.
Right.
So I ended up being like, you know what? Screw it. It's not going to feel right to the other person because I'm making a decision that is going to be uncomfortable for them to be like, oh, but, you know. But I told them, I'm like, look, I'm doing this. And they're like, oh, but, you know, you should have talked before. I'm like, I tried.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't listen. Bye-bye. And afterwards, I was like, I feel terrible. I don't like to cause discomfort in somebody else.
Yeah.
But when I talk to my friend, he goes, stop being a pussy. Like, this is the kind of decision that you got to take in order to become better in life. And it's like, I guess.
Sometimes, yeah, I feel like that's one of those things that, like, it's unfortunate to say it this way, but I think one of those things with, for example, like management that you have to learn how to do, right? And in life in general, I'm not just saying management, but
Yeah.
it's you have to understand that sometimes you can't be the good guy.
Yeah, no.
And being the good guy sometimes is not going to get you to where you need to get.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to cross the boundary of like, but I'm trying to be nice, but also you need to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
and,
correct.
you know, we at the end of the day, it's difficult to come to terms, but you have to agree that you have to look out for yourself as well.
Yeah,
Because
always.
if you don't, then you make it stuck and
Yeah.
never make it out of that precise situation because you're like, I'm going to be complacent with what I have and I'm
Yeah.
going to try to make everybody happy. But then what about your happiness?
Yeah,
You're going to
correct.
get stuck because you're trying to, you know,
just be nice.
exactly. Just make sure that everybody likes you. And
Yeah.
you can't do that all the times. Sometimes you have to step on somebody, as terrible as that sounds, but in order for you to progress. And that's very sad to say, but I wish it wasn't like that.
I prefer to step around instead of stepping through them.
Yeah, but
But sometimes it's like,
there's
bro,
no way
you're in my
around
way.
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sometimes there's no way around it.
Yeah.
It's easier when like the person that you're doing it to is not someone you like. It's so much easier to do it, right? It's not always the easiest thing to do, obviously, because you're still gonna feel bad to a degree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's a little bit easier when it's like somebody you don't
fuck
like,
that
because you're
guy.
like, yeah, like you deserve that shit.
Yeah.
But then when it's someone you actually really like, I feel like the shame that you feel of doing it, it's something that you're just in the back of your mind. You're always like, is this right?
And that's something that I learned. I don't know if it's because of this business, but I think in general, and it's the belief that it's not against you, it's for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of it that I'm seeing that, especially lately, that I've met a few people that I'm like, oh, okay. So that person doesn't have it against me. They just have it for themselves, and I'm just in the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a collateral damage of the whole
Right.
thing. And now it's like, okay, then I'm gonna think of myself, and if that person gets in a collateral damage, cool, I don't care, because it's like, okay, if you're willing to step on me, I'm gonna have no remorse stepping on you.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
If I can avoid it,
Absolutely.
I'll do it. I'll do everything that I can to avoid it. But hey, if you're willing to do that to me, I'm sorry, I'm taking off the gloves.
And then I feel like you always have to keep in mind that the saddest truth in life is that you're always replaceable.
Every single time.
And that's just the saddest part of like the realization where like you may feel comfortable at some place, but at the end of the day, you're always replaceable.
Yeah. What is one movie that you genuinely felt like I can't watch this anymore, or I'm never gonna watch this again because it was that shocking or traumatic or scary?
None.
For me, Wreck.
It was good. It was
I watched Wreck,
I loved
and
it.
I was like, I'm never watching this again. Fuck this movie.
I'm
I'm just kidding. It's a great movie, but I saw it once, and it's like I'm done.
No, I mean, for me, it's more to the point where I'm like, what the am I watching? Like, to the point where I'm just like, I would never watch that again or recommend it to anybody just because I didn't connect with it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, no, it wasn't good.
No, it's not about bad. It's like, what movie scared you so much that you're like...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, for me, one of the greatest movies was the first Conjuring when it came out. I really loved that movie. I really enjoyed it because it genuinely got me scared. Paranormal Activity, the first one, also was very cool. Very
that
cool.
movie hurt to watch, especially the end.
Because it's like the whole movie you're waiting for something.
Yeah.
Like it's happening, but you never see it. And the whole thing is you never see it.
Yeah.
So it's awesome because it keeps you on your toes the whole entire movie. And that's like the first one, Paranormal Activity, the first one.
Yeah.
That Yankee camera, I don't even know what's that style
It's
called.
called found footage.
Found footage. There we go. I couldn't think about it. Anyway, that found footage style was so good throughout the movie that, you know, you always felt like something was there, but you could never see it. And I absolutely loved it. Like it just built the tension so well that exactly it didn't rely on jump scares. I just said exactly for no reason. Anyways, it didn't rely on jump scares. If you remember, it was not like it had a lot of jump scares. It was more like, yeah, something fell and it was like a loud noise and you're like, ooh. But it's because you're tense already the whole entire movie because you're like, I don't know it's happening. I don't know what entity. I don't know if something's gonna show up, and you're just like.
When that movie came out, I genuinely believed that was true. I was like, afterwards, I went home and I'm like, what happened to those people?
Based on a true story, and you're like,
yeah. I went home and I'm like, I need to know what happened to those people. Like, what city it was in, whatever. And then when I saw it, was like, oh yeah, no, it's just a movie. And it's like, no, but it's not a movie. Like you saw it, you know. And then I was like, it's a movie and I'm a dumbass.
Yeah. So for me, you know, I don't. It's hard to tell because I watch scary movies at home by myself, everything off, and I love them. Interview with the Devil, I think it's called, was a really fun movie to watch. It's, again, not scary, doesn't rely heavily on that. And maybe it's because I'm becoming a little bit desensitized. Because, again, I do watch scary movies by myself at home. Like, I watch Caveat, Oddity. I mean, plenty of movies that are like, even from foreign films that I watch, that I just love watching it because of that. I remember I was watching, this is a funny story. So I travel a lot for work. And I remember one time I was traveling, I was coming back on a plane. And I remember I'm sitting on the plane seat, right? You know, it's tight. So I have a guy sitting next to me. And he pulls up his little iPad and he's, you know, watching something, golf. I think it's like golf or tennis. And if he ever watches this, you know, shout out to you. Anyways, because he's watching like tennis or some golf and stuff like that. And I go and put a movie, I think it was called Alive at the time. Okay. It was a zombie movie from Korea. So I'm watching.
I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
And I'm watching it. It doesn't have a lot of scare scenes, but there was a scene where like a girl just like gets up and like runs towards the screen. And I think I genuinely jumped. And I was like watching it in the plane. And I'm just like, and I had my headphones on. And I just started laughing. And I just see the guy was like this. He was more interested in what I was watching. I almost just took off my headphone. I'm like, here, because he was just like, and then when I jumped, he started laughing because, you know, you're watching fucking golf or something. Yeah. And then and the other side you see like zombies running on the screen, and I'm just like, and man, that was a great moment. So when I travel, I watch scary movies. I know you can call me whatever you want, but I'm in a plane. Watching scary movies. I would never watch a scary movie about a plane while I'm in the plane because I am terrified. Your mind,
yeah.
I am terrified of like the landing and like the taking off of airplanes. I always get scared for some reason. I'm like, it's a critical moment. Think about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, I'm more of the mind of like, I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's more critical for me, like the landing and the taking off. If you're taking off and like a bird or something just goes through it, and then whatever happens, you just, and then you might just die there, and you didn't even make it out. Yeah. It's not like you're in the middle of the air and something happened, like a failure or something. No, you're just taking off. You died there.
Yeah,
it's like fuck.
I have a friend. Rams,
Mm-hmm.
who watches the show. Shout out to Rams. He is terrified of flying.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you, bro.
I've seen him.
I don't blame you.
I've gone with him to conventions. I think only 2. Well, now 3 that are gonna be like that we have to fly.
Mm-hmm.
No, 4. 4.
Wow.
I've been in a plane with him 4 times. Like you see him like jitter. This guy is usually cool as a cucumber, and this guy's like he's psyching himself. He's like, okay, everything.
Man.
And I'm like, you good? And the first time I'm like, you good? And he goes, I hate flying. I'm like, why? He goes, I don't have control of anything. I'm just like on the mercy of things.
Exactly.
And then I'm like,
yes, you get my point, bro. You get my point.
and then I told him, I'm like, bro, you don't have control of anything. A car can just pass by or somebody could blow up and you're in the middle of the way. But I told him, I'm like, just relax and just take it easy. On the plane, I saw him sweating buckets.
Yeah, I usually like start sweating like a lot more when I'm in the plane. And then, but you know, it's just when you're driving, you have control. You are in control of the steering wheel. You can brake, you can accelerate. It's like when somebody else is driving the car. Imagine that you're driving with somebody else in the car and they're in the highway just passing cars. You are fucking shitting yourself because you have no control.
I'll punch that person and be like, slow down.
Yeah, but like you make punch him and then you get in an accident. Like
I punch him in the leg.
You don't have enough control, and that lack of control that you're like kind of like you know, you're terrified is like something. But like imagine you couldn't say anything because obviously the pilot is over there, and then you hear the turbulent. You have those turbulent moments where it's not their fault. You know, the plane is not doing anything out of the ordinary. It's actually just fine. But when you're in there, you're like, whoa, and you're like jumping all over the place. But like the turbulence, like I've been in turbulence, especially when it rains.
Oh yeah.
When it rains and you're in the plane.
You know what I've done lately that really, really works? I mean, I can fall asleep in any place, in any position. Like I love sleeping in my car. The day before, I do basically like an all-nighter. Or like I just get really, really, really ridiculously tired. So the next day I'm like, I just want to fall asleep. And I get to a plane, I'm like, I think I'm, I just pass out.
I wish. It's like,
oh, it's so
good. Last time I
It's
traveled,
so good.
I wish, but last time I traveled, I literally I was up by 4 a.m. I had to be in the airplane at 6, and then I had to go to the office.
Oh.
So it's not like I can pull an all-nighter and just, I'm going to sleep because I'm going to go into the office for the next 12 hours or 6 hours, however long amount of time I have to be there. So it's not like I can pull an all-nighter and just go to the office. I had to like go in there, fly out. As soon as I landed, I'm heading into the office. So unfortunately, I wish I could do that, but I can't. I can't just not do that.
So you guys, tell us, what tricks do you use for flying? If you're scared of flying, if you're not scared of flying, what tricks and tips do you use for this guy and for Rams? Because to stop them from being scared of flying because they're pussy. No.
I'm getting better at it. But in another note, tell us about scary movies or scary encounters. How about that? We made it. It was supposed to be more about movies, but that's what I said. We're going to cater a little more towards you because I want you to talk. So tell us about your scary encounters. Leave them in the comments. I'm sure you've been, to a degree, faced with something that you were like, I don't know if that was real, or I don't know if that could come back.
Yeah.
So, and if something comes back to bite me in the ass for talking about it today, I will definitely let you guys know in 2 weeks on the next episode.
That was very smooth, man.
Yeah.
Where can they find you on social media, brother?
So everywhere in social media, I'm Dan Valder. If you ever want to play with me, I'm in PSN as Dan Valder.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to play Marvel Rivals, Battlefield 6, anything, I'm there.
Tight work. And with me, it's Juan Fe Sierra or Juan Fe Sierra Cortez. In PSN, I am Juan Fe Sierra Co.
Mm-hmm. So we can play Marvel Rivals.
So we can play Marvel Rivals.
Or anything else.
We forgot to talk about video games, but I love scary video games for some reason. Like, I've played all of those Resident Evil.
They're great.
But I feel like I'm in control with the fucking controllers. Okay. Thank you guys for,
Thank you so much for watching.
Joining in and for tuning in. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and watch all of our reels and all of our social media. Thank you, guys.
And happy Halloween.